TTI survivor, or troubled teen industry survivor. In 2006, I was sent into the TTI, went into a couple of programs, which I'm sure we'll probably go into. And then I left the TTI shortly after my 18th birthday. So it wasn't a long time, it was just over a year, but a lot happened.
Okay, so we're going to discuss a few things. Obviously, we're going to discuss life before TTI, and then of course during your time there, and how you changed as a person after your time there, and what you do now for a living, and how you came across Unsilenced, all that jazz. So, first things first, what was your life before you were a part of the trouble teen industry?
So I was sent away right after my 17th birthday. I think it was less than a week after my birthday. So
All right.
um, going back to that, I was in. So I would have been in high school. Um, I I'm trying to think of a good starting point. I mean, do you start when you're a kid? Because I prior to going, I had a strained relationship with my father and all of that.
We have this show has a recurring theme of uh, daddy issues. The first episode, I was talking to a father who isn't allowed to see his son, who is being exploited by his mother. Second episode, we talked about just overall troubles at home, and now you mentioned a strained relationship with your father,
You
which
certainly don't get a TTI from healthy families, do you?
yeah. So no, you are
So
continuing my streak of having a having a weird father son, father daughter, whatever, father child relationship.
yeah, we all have our daddy issues. I guess that's just
Some of us
one layer of the baggage.
some of us do. Yes.
So I never had a great relationship with my dad. I mean, he always provided, but he was a heavy alcoholic, and just
Okay.
as he would describe our relationship, he would just say, "Matsy, you're not very relatable." So
Oh.
that's kind
What?
of where we are, even to this day. Yeah, we would just say we agreed that we couldn't relate to each other some years ago. That
Okay.
was that was about as
And
much agreement as we have.
what about your mother?
My mom, she workaholic, very successful professional, but also a hypochondriac and projected a lot of those things onto me. So, going through the TTI, reading all the "Your kid will die," all of that literature, she really took it to heart. Very very
Oh.
convinced by things when presented in the right way. Very naive, I suppose you could say.
Okay.
So mix that with a alcoholic, bitter father.
Mm.
Yeah. So it was it put me right into the TTI. I was like the perfect candidate. That was exactly the kind of situation that these places look for, and places that people that they try to target. Like my parents.
Yeah, I was my next question was actually how you got in to the TTI in the first place. I guess that's just sort of like the thing, like, again, to bring up last week's episode. I know I'm just gonna keep plugging all my stuff now at this point. We were talking the last time we talked about the person I was interviewing was the person
Jen.
we were interviewing, Jen. We talked about how it was like drugs and depression and all of that stuff. So what I'm collecting here, what I see is just overall just a really just rocky sort of relationship with your family, and they just sort of like kind of, I don't know what else to say about it, but like, did you ever feel neglected by your parents?
Emotionally, yes.
Okay. Yeah, like
Not like in terms of like financial or like there was always food to eat, I guess you could say.
Yes.
I come from a pretty well-off family, but that's also why the TTI targets families like mine, who are have the means and have the ability to pay for more expensive services.
Okay. All right. That's good to know. Thank you for letting me know. So, how did they learn about the TTI? How did they get notified? Was there a pamphlet that came in the mail? Did you learn about it through like somebody you knew?
So my best understanding, well, I mean, it all happened without my knowledge.
Okay.
I got surprised. So my best understanding is I didn't have like the best relationships in school. I didn't have the best grades. They weren't horrible, but I was like,
Mhm.
C's and D's if it could get me by, and maybe every now and then I'd hit a home run and get like a B minus or something like that. That was kind of like me in high school. I just didn't really put a whole lot of effort into it. So there was, but I was getting by, which that really upset my parents. So it was like failing. It wasn't quite failing grades, but it was like low grades. So there was a lot of like research. What can we do? How can we get better grades? And then also at that time, I was into other things. I was in the process of coming out of the closet, and
Uh-huh.
so that was kind of just another layer of figuring out, because this was the early 2000s. This would have been in high school. So I was in high school from 2003 to 2007. Part of that was in the TTI. But this would have been like 2005, or so.
All right.
So I'm kind of trying to find myself, and it's times were different. Um,
Different.
Kids were, it was more acceptable to be outwardly homophobic and to say pretty awful things that just would not fly today. It was just different back then. So yay, progress. So I was figuring a lot of those things. I was figuring out a lot of those things at the time, and part of that was I came out to my parents individually. I came out to my mom, and then a few months later, I came out to my dad, and that I thought that was like a big moment. I thought I was like, wow, my parents support me. No, no. It
Oh,
was just another. It was another checkbox actually, of how can we get our kid the help he needs? How can he's going down a bad path here. His grades suck.
Wow.
He's obviously confused.
oh no.
So yeah,
Smart thing.
it's just a recipe for disaster. So they hired an educational consultant of like, what do we do? How do we like, get in this kid's head and like, reprogram them or whatever.
Reprogram. You see, the smart thing to do in this situation is to simply just be as supportive as humanly possible. Kind of just give your kid the most emotional and like physical support. Like hire a tutor or like probably just get a therapist to help talk out the emotional problems you were probably going through at that time, because I know I can't speak from experience, but I do know that it is a difficult one, and I've talked to some of my friends who are of the LGBTQ community, and it is like it does put a strain on their mental health. That I do know for sure. So the smart thing to do was to just give all the help. They're just like, whatever. All right, there's a box to check. Why our kid is insane. We want to send him off to this place so he could not be insane. That's my grasp of it. I could be completely 100% off the ball with this.
It's pretty close, yeah. And then the other thing was, I would try to leave the house whenever I could to go and have social relationships and that kind of thing. But when I was inside the house, I would usually spend most of my time in my room on my computer. I still am. I was very into computer programming and just building the computers and writing code, and I wrote some server applications in high school, and I thought that was pretty neat. But people didn't really understand computers for the most part, so those were kind of silly little gimmicks back then.
Oh,
At least
that's pretty
And
neat.
that was another thing. And that was another thing was, is your kid spending too many times playing games and spending on their computer and all
Oh,
of that. So that was just another another checkbox that alienated me from my parents, I guess. And that was another thing that did come up in the TTI as to why they felt I needed help.
You know, as somebody who does spend, I spend a lot of time in my room myself because I'm striving to get into the entertainment industry because of my father, and I just kind of spend my time up here alone with my thoughts, and I work on all of my personal passion projects, and I just kind of keep to myself. And I even and that led to this, obviously. So I just want to say, Matsy, you are not the only introverted man on on this show, because one of the hosts, me, is introverted AF. It's not ridiculous. I can confirm that we are two of a kind.
Well, I would give you a high five, but then that would kind of like defeat the purpose of being introverted, right?
Uh, it depends on who you are, because I suffer from a form of anxiety, but I was forced actually to like kind of come out of my shell, and it actually kind of worked in both the negative and positive aspects, because not only, but now do I not have, I have like a bunch of people wrapping around my fingers, but I'm also just, I have a lot to keep intact here, and I've just been like, so there's been a lot of stuff that I've had to keep on my mind because of that. So it really depends on who you are. Even if you're introverted, you can still have everyone wrapped around your finger.
But
I feel that.
yeah, but all this to say, so these are just pretty standard teenage behavior. Just like yet another person who, uh, these are mostly by like overprotective parents who are like freaking out over behavior that is mostly fairly normal.
Yes, that's the overall thing we're seeing. So we go from that. Now that we've learned a little bit about that side of you, how you got in to the troubled teen industry, what your life was like before you were about to come out. Your parents were emotionally neglectful. You weren't that great of a student, so that all just kind of worked its way against you, and that's how you ended up there. Now, the next thing I wanted to ask, and it's about, where on earth were you when this happens?
So I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Okay,
Oh.
I was in the suburbs, not like in the city, but I was in the East Bay.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's where I was. And then I was sent to Utah, to the
Utah.
Salt Lake area.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Yes.
Can I ask, which facility you were sent to, if you remember the name?
Sure. Yeah, I went to several different facilities. The first one that I went to was Youth Care, and that's in Draper.
Youth care. So, let's talk a little bit about youth care for just a second. What was it like? Were there any good people there? Were they mostly bad? You know, just the borderline questions that most people would probably ask you.
So my morning of April 3rd, 2006, I woke up by the transport service,
Oh no.
and yeah, so I got that whole thing, and that was how I got to youth care. So they took me from, yeah,
Across the states.
Oh,
correct. So they gave me the whole threatening spiel. I went the easy way, and yeah, I got to youth care that morning. And
April 3rd.
more or less everything they said was going to happen happened. I'm going with them. I don't have a choice, so I better go with them, and I'm going to get there. So I did.
Come in with us.
Yeah,
What?
yeah. Basically, it was come with us. the easy way or the hard way, but you're coming with us. No, not an option, basically.
Oh.
Oh my
And
lord.
they threatened to hog tie me and drive me to Utah if I wasn't a good little boy on the airplane. So I was a good little boy on the airplane.
Oh.
Oh
Can
my lord.
I ask, like, what were your parents' reactions to this, or like, did you see your parents at all during this when this happened?
Yeah, my dad didn't. I don't remember him saying anything. Um, they woke me up with the transport service. They said my mom said that she loved me, and then both my mom and my dad left the room, and it was just like, you're with them now, and then they left. And that was the last I saw them for a couple of weeks.
Oh.
Oh my god. Jeez. All right. That's a lot for a 17-year-old to handle.
So it's a lot for a Monday morning, yeah.
A lot for Monday. It was a Monday morning too. Like just two things happened. Like
In April,
one Monday,
did you still have school then?
there was a spring break.
I did not. No, I yeah, I did not have school that morning because I was
Spring break.
they called me out basically. They called me out of school, so I thought I was going to go to school, but I was just woken up. Yeah. So
Okay.
yep.
All right. So
So instead of going to school,
they flew you.
yeah. Yep.
Which, yay, free vacation, but actually not really because it's terrifying.
I wouldn't describe it as a vacation.
Exactly. It was just more of a. I was just making kind of light of it.
Oh yeah, no, I wasn't offended.
I
It was a kidnapping. I mean, if you look up I've struggled with this because I've looked up the definition of kidnapping, and it literally fits the definition of it. So it's just
Yeah.
the legal sense in this country is what happened was completely legal, and that's the only. There's like about 6 different things that make a kidnapping, and it checks 5 of the 6 of the boxes. The one box it doesn't check is the fact that it's illegal.
well,
'Cause,
it's legal now.
in this country, yeah,
In the U.S. because we have some very stupid people
Yeah.
hey America.
in our government. We don't need to get into that, but we do have some stupid people. That's for dang sure. So you're flown to Utah to youth center, which sounds
Youth care,
youth care. Youth center.
which is still open. Yeah, they're
Youth
right.
care.
Oh
Draper.
no.
I don't know why. It sounds like a weird Christian program that's a part of. It's a part of a church or something. It does not at all sound threatening, but never judge a book by its cover. And also, there's a lot of darkness that surrounded it. So, what were your first impressions when you got inside the facility?
Well, I don't remember first walking in. This was a long time ago. I think I was just kind of in shock of what is going on. And, again, I had committed to going the easy way, so I hadn't made my moment of fight yet, But they did pretty early on there. I was strip searched, and it was a very invasive search.
Okay.
Yeah, I would describe it as being molested. The search, which that had never happened to me before. I was 17 years old at the time, so it wasn't. Fortunately, it wasn't like my first sexual experience in life, but it was a traumatic one. It was my first traumatic one, I guess you could say.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Now that is actually pretty shocking to me that actually occurs. First of all, you were 17. You were not of age, and also it freaked you out because it wasn't comfortable.
I felt very degraded and just very I'd never experienced that level of I don't know, just being that level of control over me. It was a very awful feeling on a day where I was really in shock. Like I said, I mean, I was in total shock, and I was complying with everything at that point because, like I said, I didn't want to get hogtied and driven there. But now I'm there, so I'm still kind of,
You're like,
looking for that moment of how do I make this all stop? Where's my out? It's the despair the despair hadn't quite set in yet.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you know you were gonna go here before, or was it just like completely out of the blue?
I found out I was going when the transporters woke me up that morning, or the kidnappers, I'd like to call it. That was my first. So from the time that they woke me up out of my bed to the time that I'm dealing with the strip search, we're talking 6 hours here. Woke me up, put me on an airplane, flew me to Utah, and here I am. So it's all happened so fast. Like I'm still waking up. I hadn't had much sleep.
Even 6 hours later, yes.
Exactly.
That is something. That is terrifying. Uh, Now the staff. Let's talk about the staff here. I would imagine they're not very kind to you at this moment, especially considering your first experience with those who were strip searching you.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Are you guys there?
We're here.
Okay, I just got I lost network connection. I don't know if you can still see me.
I can see you.
Okay, because I can't see anybody.
We have a little bit of technical problems here, ladies and gents, and our non-binary friends. Just the things. Just some. I'm recording these podcasts through Google Meet, so it's just not always going to be the best thing. So if one of us gets kicked off the meeting,
Yeah,
or something
as
like
they leave.
that just happens. If one of us gets kicked off the meeting, it's just because of internet. We're just gonna kind of play it by ear. We're gonna be stalling for just a minute. So it's just I don't know what to say. Can you help stall me?
Oh boy. Well, it's all sadly pretty fucking standard of an experience, I think.
So far, so
Yeah. In comparison with Jen's interview, Jen wasn't actually gooned, as they call the transport service. But um, it's really interesting because Jen was more on like the East Coast.
Okay, I think I'm back.
Oh, yeah.
we were just stalling there for a minute.
Sorry, I don't know if that was me or I don't know. I'm gonna blame that on the
I was
universe.
just telling the listeners and the viewers that this was happening. So
And
you-
I just got a lost connection thing again.
oh god.
Uh-oh.
You're not seeing this because it says you lost your network connection.
Oh, I think I had that like one time earlier, but it didn't seem to do anything.
Okay, but I can't see your lovely faces. That's awkward.
I'm still here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I'm gonna just turn off my camera here.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry. We'll just do it without a camera, I guess.
All right. Well, they know what you look like if they're viewing.
Okay.
on YouTube. All right. So, would you like me to relay the question at all?
Where did? Oh,
Oh, come on.
yeah, there we go. Yeah, the connection doesn't seem to enjoy it.
I don't want to redo this. If we have to reschedule, I might just release this as like an unfiltered thing, as like a blooper reel or something. I
Yeah.
don't know. If it
The-
doesn't end up working out,
Yeah, the next couple weekends are all filled up.
we
Mm,
will figure something.
Yeah, but as I was saying, Jen was on the East Coast, so she had a very different experience from Matsy, who's on like the West Coast with us.
Yes, with us.
And actually, it's fairly common for people in California to be taken to Utah because California itself doesn't usually like allow this. It's not actually legal in California, thankfully. But
Yeah.
Utah is one of the least regulated states, so you'll find a lot of facilities in Utah, as well as the states surrounding it, like North Carolina, There's a few in Arizona, all in like that general
There
area.
is there is somebody I do hope to interview on this show eventually. That it is a child, or was it a former? He was a member of a YouTube channel. There was a family channel, and he was sent to one of these. I don't remember where he lived because it was definitely somewhere there.
Oh.
Chad Frank. To those of you who watch YouTube drama, I really hope we can get this thing up and running because I'm not for delaying. If you see this, then I didn't delay the episode. But if you don't see this, it's probably a blooper reel that I'm gonna put on something. I don't know. Or it'll be on Twitch, so you'll see how upset I was, and I'll link it. I don't. Yeah. Yeah, we're just hopelessly stalling at this point, dear listeners, dear viewers.
Oh, Matsy said that they figured it out, so they're just trying to work on it, fix it. So they should hopefully be back.
Great. This episode is not sponsored by anything.
If it was, we'd do it right now.
I would have done a sponsor if we were sponsored by something. But no, we're not. So like that's the whole thing. Aren't we?
We back?
I think we got it. Do we have it?
It out.
Do we have it?
I'm in.
Great. May I repeat the question, or did you hear it the first time I had asked?
Let's go with third time's a charm. Please repeat the question.
Time's
I'm sorry.
Okay. So, I would imagine the staff are pretty mean leading up to this point because, of course, we have the people who strip searched you. Is it true that the other staff, other than those who strip searched you, were not polite? They were not kind?
I would say that they were very stern. The more invasive part was done by a nurse.
A nurse.
Yeah, it was a male nurse, and then there were 2 male staff in the room. So there were 3 people present, but it was, pretty awful.
Okay, well that sounds awful.
Did we ask what your first impressions were of this as soon as
I did. I did.
Just shock, really, just shock. I just didn't know what to do, and then, after that, I believe they introduced me to the rest of the other students, my peers there, I guess.
Now, how many other kids were there? Because when we talked to Jen, she had said there were a range of kids from 14 to 17. Is that how that worked out there?
I would say, that sounds about right. There are probably about 15 kids, I want to say, around there, about that number. Youth care, as we go through this, I wasn't there very long, and I moved houses while I was there. So I wasn't there very long. I'll just say that.
You were not there very long.
I got kicked out of youth care. So
You got kicked out of youth care.
Well, I when I set my mind to something,
We get to getting kicked out of youth care because that's a big part of the story, obviously. What specifically happens there? What else made you specifically uncomfortable? What did the staff do?
Well, I mean, this was
PG.
So I was at youth care for 3.5 weeks. So what I was trying to be a good person, be good and compliant, do what the adults say, all of that. Once it became impossible because they literally set you up for failure, and there's nothing you can do, and you will be punished for it, and you will be humbled by it, and there's really, you don't remember what you did because you really didn't do anything wrong. They just kind of made it up, but you remember the punishment, and that's kind of what they're going for. So once those sorts of things started happening, which they happened very quickly, we were talking 3-4 days in probably, I just said, F this, I'm not playing your silly little game, and you tell me to go left, I'm gonna go right, for everything. And
Just flip them off. Like, no, I'm not playing your games.
oh, absolutely, just resisted them at every possible turn. But these are
Yeah.
the experts to deal with defiant children, right?
Yeah.
Major balls, by the way.
So-
That is like, yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
commend you for that, man.
yeah, so I would do anything I could. And now what they do is they claim they have all these therapists and whatnot. Well, the therapists are around a couple days a week, during business hours. Most other times, it's like these staff members who are these 21 to 25-year-old, like they're not. I think they're still in college. Like they just graduated BYU, or they're on their senior year at BYU or University of Utah or something, basically. And they don't know anything about the world. They don't have any life experience, and here they are trying to manage. So they don't really know what they're doing, but they do have power and they do have authority. So it's kind of a scary combo, especially when you have somebody like me who is very much challenging their authority.
You're rebellious, and you're like, I'm not playing. I'm not doing this.
Exactly. So I mean, yeah, I gave them hell. And I would find out things that they would just not like. Like I would start fights with other people, like just to get them going, just to get everybody going, because let's just, hey, if I can't have peace, then nobody can. Let's make things chaotic. So that went over as well as it did. So they moved me to another house in Utah, or at youth care. So they have like 3 houses on this site, or on this campus, I guess. At least they did at the time. And they're all completely isolated from each other. They have almost no interaction with each other. So you, as a student or a child of one of these places, doesn't know what's going on in the other house, pretty much. So didn't tell me why or anything, I can guess. They moved me to a different house just to kind of give me a fresh start, to see, hey, you want to try this again, kid? And
you little piece of garbage.
Basically, yeah. So then when I answered them, pretty consistently, that's when things like the isolation started. They locked me into what they call the observation room, which is not much bigger than a broom. It's a broom closet, basically. I mean, these are like converted office buildings, right? This would have been otherwise been a janitor closet, It was just barely big enough to even lay down in. And so they started isolating me for days on end. And that's where some of the staff were pretty... they would just mess with you because you're isolated. I was allowed out of there once a day, once in the morning to use the bathroom, once in the evening to use the bathroom, and then I got to sleep on a mattress in the hallway outside of the room, and then in the morning I went back into the room, and that's how things were for, I don't know, 6-7 days or so of just that,
Geez.
And
7 days.
yeah, and they assigned a staff person to just look over me and just to watch me, but a lot of them chose to have no interaction with me whatsoever. So if I tried to talk to them, it was like, you just get the silent treatment, which that'll drive you nuts. I mean, like after a while. So it's just like, nobody gives a shit. Like they just be ignored.
They're
so
just like, whatever. We don't give
yeah.
a care.
And then there was one guy that really stuck with me. He was one of the night shift guys, and I'll give you as many small stories as you want, but I think this one just really stuck with me. He claimed that he was a former police officer, and now he's working in the troubled teen industry. So who knows what kind of life leads him to that, but I don't know. I won't judge. I don't know. And he would like to tell stories about how when he was a police officer. And this one guy, I don't remember his name, but I remember his face. He was bald and old, and anyway, he tells me the story about how he shot a guy as a cop, like in the capacity of being a cop. He shot and killed a guy, and that he wasn't sorry because the guy was a real scumbag. And then he implied that he wishes he could do that more often because the world would be a better place. He didn't outright say he was going to shoot me, but like it was more of, hey, if you're going to be a piece of garbage, basically, then I'd be doing the world a favor by shooting you, basically.
I could just take you out and block you.
Oh yeah.
Basically, basically the world would be better off without you. Was
That's
essentially the
not
message
somebody
that
that's
he
not
yeah.
something you want around a 17-year-old.
Casually threatening a child. That's fun.
Yeah, it really stuck with me, and that was in the morning. So that was how I started my day one morning. Yeah, because he was on night shift, so he was like leaving, and that was where I made the transition from the mattress to being locked in the closet with the door closed, completely isolated. So like it's like so he tells you that story, and then you get locked in that room, and the door is closed for all day. I mean, it was closed all day. I was like let out a couple times to use the bathroom, and that was it. And that was like the last human interaction I had with anybody was that conversation, on one of the days.
Oh,
And that stuck with me.
Well,
Yeah, that one really stuck with me.
I'm gonna die. That guy's gonna kill me. Just like that's the thought that goes into your mind. Not
because
one.
you just don't know what's real at that point. You don't know what is. You had this conception of reality as a 17-year-old child, and
then
you just don't understand how you are physically where you are.
Wake up! It's the real world, just like that. I just straight up had to say it. Someone had to say it. Is that the most significant thing that happened to you there, other than getting locked in a broom closet? Which
no, actually, getting kicked out was because I hadn't gotten kicked out yet. Oh no, I hadn't gotten kicked out yet. So they decided after like 7 days of me being isolated that they were going to, see if I had changed my ways. Right. Well, I'm a stubborn individual. So when they put me back into the I'll call it general population. That is not what they would call it, but basically because I was isolated and now I'm back with the other kids,
alone.
So So I started some ruckus again there, and in that ruckus I started smashing things. I picked up a chair and I started smashing this chair. And I just started breaking stuff. I was like, well, you know what? I'm angry. I was angry. I'd been locked in a room for 7 days. I was very, very angry, and I just didn't care. So I started breaking things. And so that's when, things got physical, and I went back to the broom closet or back to the observation room. Again, yeah. So in this observation room was a recessed lighting fixture in the ceiling, and I could go up there and I could reach it, and so that was my one thing that I could do to destroy this room, because now I'm in destruction mood. I had just broken a chair. Yay, I'm big and strong and powerful. And then I just gotten like the crap knocked out of me by a bunch of grown adults.
Oh my god.
And so now I'm like locked in this closet and I'm bruised and but I'm still kind of adrenaline pumping, fired up. And so I reach up there and I pull this lighting fixture out of the ceiling with my hands.
Oh wow.
And I have since reconnected with a fellow survivor who I won't name, but was who I knew from this program. And this person was in that building as a kid, like me, as a peer of mine. And I heard that the sound that me pulling the light out of the ceiling, I guess the students at the time thought it was the sound of my body breaking, as it really scared a lot of people that night. I didn't know that at the time. I didn't know that until years later. But that scared a lot of people, and they never found out what that noise was. But yeah, so it scared the crap out of the whole house when I did that.
Of course, I would imagine like just a bunch of kids, just trying to like have their night, and then all of a sudden they just hear this intense. Excuse my analogy, just this intense, enraged beast, just violently thrashing about, just like there's like, what could be doing that? Like an animal got into the. If you excuse my analogy there, like of course
I was in beast mode, you could say, yes.
Top 10 times characters went beast mode. Number 1, Matsy throws a chair in a...
Yes. So no, I didn't throw it. No, I did not throw it. I just like picked it up and smashed it.
Were you roaring? Were you like... "Ah!"
I think I might have said I want to go home or something like that. It's probably quite sad actually.
No.
But in all of this struggle, in going to that room, they called the cops.
Ooh.
Oh,
The youth care called the cops.
youth care call.
And yeah, youth care, well, because breaking the chair, right? Now shit's getting real. And so
He broke
so-
the chair.
yeah. And so all of a sudden, when I pulled the light out of the room, the lights obviously go out. It's the only light in there, so it's dark in this room now. And the light broke. The bulb broke, so like it cut up my hand. So I was like, I had like blood on my hand, so I didn't really want to touch anything. But as soon as that happened, all of a sudden the door swings open, and there is a police officer pointing a taser at me.
Oh my god.
I was like, not what I was expecting. I thought the door was opening and they were gonna kick the freaking crap out of me.
But it was a cop.
And so
No, just
honestly,
a
once I
taser.
saw that it was once I saw that it was a cop, I was like, oh, cool. Like, you know, help has arrived. You know, like I don't
Oh
know.
jeez.
I come from a pretty like, you know, upper middle class area where like, yeah, the police are there to help. You know, like surely they're gonna like see that I'm locked in this room and like, you know, do the right thing here. You know, once they figure it out.
Nope.
So I immediately put my hands up. I did not get tased. I did not.
Thank
And
God.
I was like, I surrender. Get me out of here. And so they did. They handcuffed me, threw me in the back of the car like I'm some perp. Now I'd never been in trouble with the law before. I'd never been arrested. This is all new to me. By the way, this is all new to me. Okay, so I'm not like some hardened juvenile offender here.
I've
But
never
they-
thought that for a second.
But the way they made it seem, I was like a violent youth offender because, you know, breaking a chair is an act of violence, so
It's
it was
some
a violent crime.
an insane monster broke
That's crazy.
Yeah.
in, slamming a chair on the ground. Oh, police, help us. What am I supposed to take away from that? Like, honestly.
Well, they took me away to juvenile hall, and
Upstairs, you're in juvie.
here's the crazy thing. Here's what still blows my mind to this day. When I got to juvenile hall, we got to walk around like the pod whenever. We just had to go back to our cells at night and sleep, and we could sleep all night uninterrupted. We got to make phone calls. We got to write letters. We got to watch movies. Like the amount of freedom that I had in jail was like just such a relief to me, to be honest with you. Like, because I had so much control over me. Like, you can't do anything. You have nothing to yourself at youth care. You have nothing. So when I got there and I could use the phone and I could call my friends and I could, that was fun. Oh, I called my best friend at the time and it was, this is an
Hey,
offender from the juvenile justice call. You know,
Oh,
Hey,
and
I'm
boy.
it's like,
in jail.
in Utah, right? Like, what the hell?
I'm
Like,
in jail
Utah.
in Utah. What?
Right? Yeah. So, yeah, and I was able to write letters, and I mean, like, I was able to check in with all of my friends back home. So that was like just such a relief to me. When I was in jail, just because I could communicate, you know, I had freedom, and it was the guards at the juvenile hall. They're not there to mess with you. They're not there to do anything but their job. They tell you to do something, you do it, they move on. They don't give you shit. Whereas in the TTI, they just poke you and they just screw with you and they just mess with you just because, oh, we just wanted to see how he'd react. They don't play that crap in jail because I guess in jail, when guards mess with inmates like attack guards. So guards have respect for inmates and inmates like in turn respect guards. That doesn't exist in the TTI.
Makes
The power dynamic in jail is a lot easier, I think, than the power dynamic in the TTI, because in the TTI you don't have you don't have rights. In jail, you have rights, but in the TTI, you
Yeah,
don't.
it really speaks a lot
so
about
that's
the facilities.
It also
and
makes you like
sorry,
relate.
go ahead.
It also makes you relate to movies like Shawshank Redemption, like that's like it feels like a real legit prison at multiple points throughout that movie. And also, yes, more importantly, it does also show you how like really like gross and uncivilized facilities like that.
Yeah, I mean, and granted, it was juvenile hall. I'm not gonna pretend like I did hard time in San Quentin. Like it was juvenile hall, and I was there for 6 days, and I was in like a first time. Hey, this guy follows the rules, kind of like unit or whatever. So I didn't have any issues. I didn't really care for the food, but it was better than where I had been. So I was there for 6 days.
And you could
After
say
that,
you
they
too.
I can say I was in jail. I did nights in jail. Yeah, I was in jail for 6 days. So yeah, no, I didn't have to shank anybody. I wasn't worried about getting shanked. No, the guards for the most part, I had no issues with anybody. Everybody was very respectful, and I was respectful to them. And I was a good little boy. Um, anyway, yeah, don't go to jail. It's
We're not
just,
going to
yeah,
jail.
it's not it's still not fun. I would not recommend to a friend, but I would recommend jail over youth care.
Hey,
Jail,
go to
better
jail.
than, jail better than youth care.
Yes,
You can like meme that or
Inspiring.
something.
jail better than you.
Yeah.
Hey, go to jail.
Yes.
It's better than you.
It is jail is better than youth care. Yes, 100%. Well, maybe not 100, but it's better. Yeah, it's yeah. So anyway, so after youth care, I went to Copper Hills Youth Center, also in the Salt Lake area, and that's in West Jordan, and that is owned by UHS. And that I was there for a month. Um, yeah, I got pulled out of that one. I got my parents to pull me out of Copper Hills.
And
So um, I because I had been arrested, I had been charged with a crime. They tried to get the court ordered me into the TTI, which was really scary. That was so scary at the time because before that it was just my parents had sent me away. Now there's like a push to try to like get me like a convicted criminal, basically sentenced criminally to the TTI where you can't get out, even after your 18th birthday potentially.
Oh.
I don't know how. I still don't know why, because the way the judges are there, I don't know. That did not happen. Because of breaking the chair, I got, I don't know, I think like 100 hours of community service, and I had to buy him a new chair.
Oh
You
my
know, like
gosh.
yeah. So like
It's-
it was okay. I mean, also I'd done 6 days, so they gave me credit for that. I think they actually gave me credit for 10 days or something like that.
it's
So I was like,
And
okay,
you-
he probably learned his lesson.
He learned his lesson. He won't destroy any more chairs.
The
Yeah,
and
and
buy
then-
them a
oh,
new chair is so petty.
And oh no, that wasn't the pettiest thing. The other thing that I had to do, and I did this, I had to write a letter of apology.
Oh my god!
Oh
you-
jeez.
They care more about the chairs than they do their own kids.
Yeah, so I did write them a letter of apology because it was a part of the plea deal, and I'm a contract abiding kind of a person. So I promised them an apology. I wrote them an apology.
Oh my lord!
I am deeply
yeah.
regretful of breaking a chair after you locked me in a room for 7 days.
This sounds like the plot to a Looney Tunes cartoon.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if after all these years, if like the statute of limitations is long enough for me to come out and outwardly say I'm not sorry. So I'm not going to flat out say that I'm not sorry about that chair because I did say I was sorry, but I will say at one point I was sorry enough to write that letter.
Somehow, they're sorry enough to, right?
So yeah.
They probably held a funeral for that chair too, knowing them.
Well, they
Honestly.
got a new one, so yeah. And the light. I had to replace the light too.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
That's right. Yeah, I bought them a light.
The chair is even stupider though. I mean, like,
Yeah.
guys.
But like between the chair and the light, it was like, I don't know, $400. So it wasn't like a felony or anything, like even in Utah. So like it wasn't like real, like it didn't arise to the level of vandalism. I think that was where they said it was criminal mischief, but not vandalism. So because it's dollars, I guess.
Hello, I muted
Which
my
I
mic.
guess was good for me.
Whoopsies.
So I drunk enough to send a message.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for the Rayburn Squirtle.
Yeah.
How did you guys find me?
So I was in
We're doing an interview of a child abuse survivor or institutional child abuse survivor. We're interviewing Matsy. Let me go ahead and there we go. Some trigger warnings. This is some pretty heavy topics. Guy in my chat. Oh, thank you, Ty. Oh yeah. Just beware. These are some pretty heavy topics on very real events that occurred. Oh, Natsy's dog came.
For me, I was very unsafe. I was literally afraid for my life there, and I looking back, I think I had good reason for that.
What'd you guys do?
And I think
Let
my
me see if
dog
I
wants
can
to go
remember the
outside.
shout out command.
Can I tell you a story in just a moment? I'm gonna like take a pause and take care of my dog, and then like intermission real quick.
Okay.
For sure, I just
Okay.
got raided.
Stalling time. You got raided during this stream.
I did.
All right, stalling time. Let's do some shameless plugs.
It was good. How yours
obviously,
going? It's going really
a lot
great.
of you
We're learning
guys
some very
who listen
interesting
to this
things.
are viewers of my channel, but some of you are new. And if you enjoy this kind of content, please feel free to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. I just feel like I should say it. And while you're at it, link in the description below. Please go follow Ace on Twitch. The content is hilarious, and if you want to hear somebody say the F word multiple times during a stream, Ace is your person.
I don't know if cussing is the main takeaway of my channel, but sure.
It's not, but like I like it's what I take away a lot. Yeah.
This
Ace,
podcast is going great.
Yeah, Ace has an affinity for saying the F word.
I, to be fair, have not said it this much this stream.
Yeah, you did say it once, but
I did. Not as much as usual, though.
No, you say it like whenever we're talking in person, they use it like every three sentences.
Yeah.
It's funny, but at the same time, it's also really egregious.
It adds flavor to the sentence.
I use the less spicy words.
Oh, we
right.
back?
We're back.
Okay, I am back. Yes, I was still listening. So yeah, I don't know. You didn't say anything about not swearing, so I think I've
No,
said
you
a
can
couple naughty
swear.
words, but okay, cool.
You can use all of the. Just let the sailor mouth go. Just whatever you do not use any slurs.
I think
Okay,
that's
no
a
slurs,
given.
Yeah. I'm not a very slurful kind of person, so.
Good. I was not
Okay, so anyway, I was talking about how I left Copper
Yeah.
Hills. So I was in a very vulnerable, unsafe situation in Copper Hills.
Yeah.
I could do a whole nother podcast on just Copper Hills.
We'll
maybe
do a
at some
follow-up.
point,
We'll
but
do a
yeah,
follow-up.
let's just skip that big one tonight. But
Yeah.
I will tell the story about how I left Copper Hills. So this was on June 1st, 2006. I remember the date.
Ah.
And I had an opportunity to book it out of Copper Hills.
Oh,
I
wow.
had sandals and I had clothes and I had an opportunity. I didn't have shoes, but I had an opportunity. And I took that opportunity because it was really fight or flight. And I chose flight. And I booked it along with a couple others, and we split up pretty quick because they had shoes. I didn't, just because another story. And so we got separated pretty early on because I couldn't keep up with them. But that was probably good because they were looking for three, and there was only one of me, and they went their separate ways, and I made it a little bit further than they did. I would love to talk maybe more about what I should have done, but I'll just tell you a long story short. I ended up getting caught by the cops who were looking for me that night. And I was 14 miles away from Copper Hills, And so I was kind of proud of that because I took myself on my feet with my sandals 14 miles that
14
night,
miles is
you know?
crazy.
It's a long way to walk in sandals, yes.
Yikes.
Were they
And,
sativas?
they were. Let me see. This.
Oh
this style.
boy.
That,
Yeah, that style.
yeah. Look, the amount of
Yeah.
blisters on your feet must have been nasty.
I don't remember. I remember a lot of thorns because I had to run through a field.
Oh,
Like a big-
no.
this was Utah, so like a big
don't-
sage
I
field in
don't-
the back. So
I,
yeah.
I don't doubt blisters. Let's say that.
Yeah, I remember thorns.
Thorns definitely, blisters is a maybe.
Yeah. So anyway, so I escaped, and this is I like, telling this part of the story. I honestly cannot believe how this happened. But the cop who arrived that picked me up, first I didn't want to tell him who I was, but he figured out that I was an underage kid on the street, and I don't know, I gave all the signs of a runaway or whatever. So he's trying to identify me, and finally, eventually, he figures it out. I tell him whatever, and tell him why I'm in danger and I can't go back to Copper Hills and all of that. And he knows all about Copper Hills.
Oh.
He knows about it. And yeah, so he tells me a story about his personal life. He says, normally I don't tell people this, but he says that he was a kid at Rivendell, which is what used to be of Copper Hills. So it was Rivendell, then Copper Hills got it sometime in like the 90s. So he went through what I went through
Oh, wow.
at the same place.
Oh.
And he was very affected by that. He knew exactly what went on there. He knew how bad it was. And he told me that he hasn't told anybody, any of his colleagues that, you know, he hadn't told anybody in the department that, you know, he went there. But for whatever reason, here I am from there, and it touched him enough to tell some other people that night. You know, I saw him do it, some of his fellow officers. And he's still a cop, still has to do his job. So, you know, back in handcuffs, back in the backseat of a cop car, this time from the police station back to Copper Hills.
Oh, no.
And because he has to, you know, he doesn't have, you know, Copper Hills has legal custody over me. And as he's driving me there, he breaks down and cries. So that was weird. Being in the backseat of a police car with a police officer driving you, crying because he has to take you where he's taking you.
Oh.
Like, still, like, that just, like, that's so weird. It's a weird,
Yeah.
weird experience. It's weird to describe. It's weird to even picture in my own head, but I lived it, you know?
Word.
Visual, right? You know? Like,
It just, I'm trying to imagine it right at this very moment. I'm just.
and the stuff that I had seen at Copper Hills at this point, the stuff that I had been through in jail, at youth care, of getting transported, all of this was just in the span of barely 60 days. Not even.
Here's about it.
Yeah, or about 90 days. Sorry, it was about 90 days. So it was less than 90 days. And so, like, all of these things, all of these, like, just traumatic, like, oh my God, I've never seen anything like this in my life, several times a day kind of experiences. And now here I am, you know, going back to Copper Hills. So just like
In the back of a police car. In the back
with
of
a crying cop. Yeah, with a cop who's sobbing, you know? Yeah, I mean, I'm like almost worried about his like safe ability to drive. The
Yeah.
car.
That's
You know,
something
like-
you don't see every day.
Yeah, it was. I struggle to picture that in my head, but I remember it. You know.
It's so surreal.
Yeah. So anyway, so then I went back to Copper Hills, and they did horrible things to me over the next 24 hours there because it was their last opportunity to. The cop who took me there had also made a phone call to my mom, and he appealed to my mom and said, you know, look, you got to get him out of there, put him anywhere else, just not there. The place is horrible. He's probably going to, you know, bad things had already happened. Bad things were going to continue to happen had I not gotten
taken out of there by my parents, because the police officer told them to. And so they then sent me to Second Nature Wilderness out in middle of nowhere, Utah now.
Ah.
Yeah, Duchesne, Utah is the nearest town. That's the home office of Second Nature.
Douche.
And yeah, it's as lovely as the name it sounds. And
Douche anus.
yeah, yeah, a little side story. When I was in the wilderness thing, we would call the locals who worked for the wilderness place, we'd call them Duchesners. I don't know if that's what the people in Duchesne call themselves, but that's what we called them.
Oh, it was a wilderness program.
It was wilderness, yeah.
Oh,
So that was
boy.
on June 2nd. So I escaped on June 1st, and I got taken to wilderness on June 2nd.
Wow,
So.
just one after another.
Yeah. It was about 24 hours of time in between from my escape to going to wilderness. But again, now this is another place. So I'd been to youth care, I had been to jail, I had been to Copper Hills, and now I'm going to wilderness. So I didn't know what to think at this point anymore. Everything is just, I don't know. I'd been through a lot, you know. And I guess a lot of kids, they get woken up in the middle of the night and they go straight to the wilderness place. That's how most kids would arrive to this wilderness program, as like they had just been woken up, they're in shock or whatever. Not me, no. I am very difficult to. It's very difficult to wipe the smile off of my face, as you may or may not have noticed so far. So I'm like happy. I am happy to get the hell out of Copper Hills. So I'm like not upset going to wilderness at all, which is just not what they're used to. So my transition into wilderness was relatively easy. I didn't have like the muscle mass that I have today. Like I hadn't really, gotten super into like fitness and exercise. So I was kind of a scrawny kid at the time, a little chubby, but I'm kind of like scrawny. So I like struggled a little bit physically in wilderness, but overall I found it relatively easy because, I'm still kind of big frame. So, I was able to kind of get over a lot of the stuff that they'd put you through, because we had to walk around with these like 50-60 pound bags, and I cannot imagine if I was like half the size, if I was like, because I've heard like in like girls programs, like girls wilderness, they have to carry the same damn packs, and they're just as heavy. And I mean, like at the time, I don't know, I was probably like 160 170 pound kid, so I wasn't small, but I was about the size of most adults anyway. I'm bigger now, but like there were kids a lot smaller carrying the same loads, and that was kind of interesting. So I did all right in wilderness, I guess. I adapted. I learned. A lot of the wilderness stuff was just kind of psychological. It was a lot of group settings. I experienced some sexual trauma at Copper Hills, so I was still dealing with that. I hadn't really had the chance to process that because that was just days, weeks before. One of the things that Second Nature, the way their program is set up, is they interact with the parents and they basically say, hey parents, why did you send your kid away? So it was a lot of like hitting you with why your parents don't like you, basically, on top of all the trauma I had just been through for the last like 2.5 months. So it was a lot. It was a lot of heavy, just a lot of emotion. So and then part of that was the counselors and the therapists, they made a point to, every time we got somebody new, that I had to out myself, because it was better. They made it seem it was better that I outed myself rather than let other people out me for me, I guess. And I'm just like, I didn't really want to be out of the closet in the first place here, because it was just one more awkward thing I didn't need to deal with,
Were they? Did they treat you badly because you were gay?
Not physically, no, but there were certainly comments. Yeah, I mean, there were, one of the comments that that I would get asked was, "Oh, are you the woman or the man?" And it was, that was.
Oh my god.
I mean, this was like the early 2000s.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
And that always really bothered me.
They somehow managed to be homophobic and misogynistic in the same phrase.
If you don't mind my asking,
Oh yeah.
they ever use the F slur?
Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah, absolutely. And for a long time I did, just to kind of like reclaim our word, and I don't do that anymore because of that. I think we've come a long ways, and I think that's a good thing. So
Yeah.
Don't use the word, folks.
no, don't say it. Don't
Yeah,
drop an
yes.
F-bomb.
Yeah, don't use
Do not
slurs.
drop a fucking F-bomb.
It's the wrong type of F-bomb.
Anyways, yeah, you outed yourself, which I would imagine was like humiliating and uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean, it was just kind of like, really, like, because it was, like, you'd go, like, you'd give the abbreviated version of your story, and if I would leave that out, it would be like, hey, hey, Matsy, do you want to say anything else about yourself? Are
Oh.
you forgetting anything? You want to say? And, there was one time where I did use the F slur, and I said, what, you want me to admit that I'm a F slur, like, so... Yeah, I mean, it was uncomfortable, but I did what I could to, try to reclaim, a little bit of power over that, I guess. But it was very uncomfortable. It was just sort of like, yeah, that's the gay one over there. So they
Oh.
labeled you,
Yeah.
That guy over there, he's the druggie. That guy over there, he's like the, I don't know, he punched the principal or whatever. That guy right there, he's the gay one, That was kind of how it was.
Spot
yeah.
the difference.
Exactly.
Difference in a nutshell.
And that's kind of how the wilderness program was kind of set up. They just basically marched us in circles. I mean, not like we never got back to the same place, but kind of just aimlessly hiking through the woods, eating beans and rice. So the physical part, I didn't really mind. I liked being in shape, but the social stuff was just cringy, to say the least.
Oh, can I ask if they ever did in any of the facilities, really, anything sort of like conversion therapy?
So at youth care, it definitely came up, and it was. But again, I was so rebellious. I was like, you tell me to go left, I'm going to go right. So they tried. I mean, they certainly tried that in. They, are you sure? Are you this? Kind of those sorts of questions.
Yeah, I think I am.
I'm 17 years old. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just, all I can speak is the experiences I had at the time. And so
Yeah.
there were like questions about, how do you think? What do you think of this? How do you feel about that? Does this, I don't know, weird stuff. And it was like, they were of the sexual nature, like kind of questions, like what arouses you kind of questions. Like,
Oh,
really uncomfortable
yikes.
stuff for
Yeah.
a 17-year-old. And it was, and I would shut those questions down. I didn't participate. So,
Good on you.
yeah, I found them very uncomfortable questions, in that setting. So,
My answer.
yeah.
Uncomfortable.
But I was honest about, yeah, I'm gay, and yes, I have had relationships with men. So, like, I wasn't, like, hiding that part, I'm like,
I ain't beating
sure
around
you
the
take a
bush.
hike, I mean, yeah, it's
Push it. Deal with it.
exactly, at least
Get over it.
at the time I was like, hey, at least we're not out getting married, so,
All right. So your
So,
wilderness.
anyway,
How long did your wilderness program last?
so I was there for 3 months, at
Oh.
Wilderness. So, yeah, and so the idea of, like, the conversion kind of stuff did certainly come up there, but they would steer a lot of the students there to kind of ask a lot of questions like, when did you decide to be gay?
Yeah.
Those sorts of questions. I don't know, just like stupid questions, really.
When did you decide to be gay? Are you?
I don't know, when I put this shirt on, like,
When you
When-
threw the awesome-looking shirt on, that makes you look like Ryan Gosling. Actually.
Oh my
you so
god,
much.
it does.
Yeah, no, I was when I left the Barbie movie, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I saw myself there for a moment,
You're like, I'm Ken.
I am just a Ken,
You are Knuff.
So am I.
and this is my Moho Dojo, whatever that awesome line is. I love that.
Mojo Dojo Casa House.
Thank you. Yes.
Oh my God, I
We're all
love that.
Barbie. We're all Barbie stands on this podcast. Yeah, I just had to say that. Like, that was it's a ridiculous question to ask. Like, just why question identities? Like, honestly, just let the people live.
I mean, it was different, different like cultural time at the time. I will say, like the way
Yeah.
I certainly perceived issues is very different than how I perceive them now. Back then, I mean,
of
this was
course.
we've come a long ways in almost 20 years, in less than 20 years,
Yeah.
really. We've come like I said, I'm a very sarcastic person. If you haven't picked up, I said gay marriage wasn't even legal at the time, so
Yeah,
we've come a
I
ways.
when did it become legal again? I forget. Like 2000.
I believe it was 2014.
Oh wow.
So this was like 2007. So this was before that, and
2000,
this was like where if a kid bullied another kid for being gay, unless the teacher had a problem with it, it kind of flew because there just wasn't like, I don't know, there wasn't. It just wasn't dealt with very seriously. It wasn't taken very seriously.
Yeah.
Not today, mofos. Not today.
Yeah, it was a lot of you're going through a phase kind of thought.
Oh my god.
So
Yeah.
and then after Wilderness, I went to Michigan, and I went to
Oh,
Star
Michigan.
Commonwealth, which is they
Oh.
had a program there of Montcalm. Are you? It sounds like you're familiar.
I've read that somewhere, at least in a few articles. I think it was in the TIT handbook or TTI handbook that Unsilence was working on.
The TIT hand.
Possibly.
I got it mixed up with my other project. Okay.
I have to mention. we don't do that much dirty humor on the show, so just whenever we do, just make sure it's an event. I'm about to sneeze again. Excuse me,
Well, that's
Jesus.
you.
Thanks. All the way to Michigan.
Oh yeah, all the way to Michigan, from Utah to Michigan now, and so this was so I was in Star Commonwealth, but then there's a program within at the time which neither of these programs really exist anymore, at least not how they did now or how they did then. They do a different services now, which we can get into. But anyway, at the time, Montcalm was kind of more for the affluent kids, to be blunt about it. Where parents could like afford to send their kids, and they also had like a nonprofit where they could like get state funding, but then they separated us, so we never really interacted with those kids, I guess you could say.
Huh.
I don't mean to say it like that in a derogatory way. I just mean that that was kind of how they put it. Like those are the poor kids over there. You're the rich kids over here. Kind
Oh
of.
dang.
So
Kind of separate class.
yeah, exactly. So anyway, so I was on that, and it was not great. I managed because I had been in enough scuffles and things like that, but at that point at Copper Hills and youth care, I had kind of like learned to kind of be tough a little bit, I guess, I suppose, at that time. So if somebody wanted to start a fight, I was able to defend I was confident enough to defend myself. I wasn't the little guy. I wasn't the guy to be picked on there, at least. I didn't come out initially at Montcalm, but when I got there, the day I got there, one of the dean of admissions or whatever pulled me into his office and he said, "Hey, I know you're gay and you're not here to find a boyfriend, just so you know." I'm just like, this is awkward. Nice to meet you. you know? And so yeah, that was kind of like a little bit off-putting, but it's small town Michigan, I guess. That's just kind of how they are out there, I suppose. Bless their heart. And so anyway, so this was back in the days of MySpace, and this is part of the reason why I don't do social media anymore. I had a MySpace, and if you found my MySpace from way back when, it would clearly show that I was gay. And somebody was able, one of the students there was able to access that and find out that I was gay within like a week or two, and cat was out of the bag. I wasn't staying in the closet. So I was basically outed, the whole time I was there. So I just kind of wore it, honestly. I just kind of owned it. And yeah, so I I didn't have too much of a problem with it, because if somebody did drop an F slur or something like that on me, I would get right back in their face, and I wouldn't just I would stick up for myself, you know. So it kind of just became a, do you really want to pick on him? He's probably, you know, I was bigger than a lot of the kids there, so it was just like, don't pick on me, you know. So that helped, just being one of the older, bigger kids at the, I guess. But yeah, it was pretty homophobic. It didn't help me, I'll put it that way. It was not looked at favorably. There were some staff members there who were very religious, who knew about it and would say things about how they felt, and they would. I don't know. I don't. Some of them were good-hearted people. Others just sucked. You know, there were definitely those on a power trip, and then there were some that were good-hearted, but you know, misguided, I would say. You know, through religion and that kind of thing. You know, well-meaning, but just not the right person for the job. This is not the kind of job to push your religion on people. There were people who were very religious who worked there, who used religion to get through their lives as an aid, and they thought that, hey, all if it works for me, it works for you. And that's just kind of not my thing. But that was kind of what they would bring. And again, you know, a lot of these programs, they bring in therapists throughout the week, but you know, on all the off hours, it's these minimum wage staff people, and this is who you get. You know, you get people who are on a power trip. You get very religious people. You get the people who are willing to work at a job that pays less than working at Wendy's. You know?
Yeah.
Freaking Wendy's, yeah.
Nothing against working at Wendy's. I love the people who work at Wendy's. I will never begrudge. That is a tough job, and if you work at Wendy's, you are awesome. And yeah,
Shout out to any
that's a tough job.
who work at Wendy's.
Any fast food restaurant.
Or any fast food restaurant for that matter. To anyone who listens here, if you're on your break and you work at a fast food restaurant, shout out to you. And also shout out to that cop that cried in the car.
I've thought about looking up his name someday, but I never have.
If you somehow are watching, if you are somehow listening to this, shout out to you. I doubt it, but if you somehow are, shout out to you. So, anyways, where were you?
So yeah, so that was kind of the whole, you know, gay experience, I guess, I had as far as like the TTI. I mean, I was at Montcalm for 9 months, so that was kind of a long time, but it was I was able to make it manage. I was able to manage it, I guess. It was a much more lax program. Whereas if the staff told me to go left and I said F you, I'm going right, most of the time they would just kind of shake their head and go, ugh. You know. So
Classic.
yeah, so I wasn't like, you know, I wasn't constantly getting in trouble, at least.
So 9 months, and when that ended,
I was 18 years old, and welcome to the world. You're not a kid anymore. You're an adult.
you're a grown man. Do whatever the hell you want.
And yeah, so then I don't know. A few years went by, and here I am.
So life now, how does that look for you?
Pretty decent. Yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm 34 years old. Be 35 a little bit later this year, so I'm the same age as Taylor Swift.
Great. Swifties, I hope you're listening to this. This is for you. This last tribute is for you. No.
Love you, Taylor.
Love you, Taylor Swift. Yeah.
So I'm 34 years old. I work in the video game industry, specifically with casino gaming. So actually, I make casino games. I live in Nevada, and
you're
in
it's Vegas. That's why.
Yeah, party state. Yeah,
Yeah, that
exactly.
makes
Well,
sense.
that's the shirt. Yeah, if this shirt doesn't say Nevada, I mean, I don't.
I mean, what else
Yeah.
is Las Vegas than this multicolored, bright neon shirt that exists?
Yeah, we love to have people come here and party and get married and, you know, Yeah,
How
do
many-
all the
How many
and
Elvis
all the freedom things. Yes.
How many
That's so
Elvis impersonators
interesting.
have you seen on a day-to-day basis? I just need to know now. How many Elvis impersonators?
Oh, there are quite a few.
As I
think
would
there's-
imagine. You guys have this weird thing for Elvis.
we love to entertain. So I'm very fortunate. I have a good job. I get to bring fun and excitement to my players in the form of being a software engineer. So I write the code that goes on to the machines.
Ooh.
Yep. You've got a dog, obviously.
I do. That was Luke. He was
Aw.
my dog, and yeah. So I don't know. I have a small little apartment, and yeah, I'm doing all right.
Living life, just being yourself.
And yeah, so then I guess I think earlier you brought up what brought me to Unsilenced. So
Yeah.
I
on
try to stay off social media, just kind of my personal thing. So I found out through Reddit, because that is one of the things that I still do. I found the Troubled Teens page on Reddit,
Oh.
and I was just blown away with the community on that, and kind of just grew from there. From there, I connected with Unsilenced, and I am making very small contributions as a volunteer for Unsilenced. But I have met some of the directors at Unsilenced, and they are fantastic people, and Unsilenced is awesome. So shout out to Unsilenced, you guys are great.
Shout out to Unsilenced, without whom we would not be here tonight.
Yeah, we love them. They're great.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I am doing the Hidden in Plain Sight podcast in the first place. Was not only I was so touched by the first interview I did, which is the first episode of the Hidden in Plain Sight podcast, but also because Ace, this is like their passion project. So
Yeah.
I wanted to kind of get into spirits with that, and now that I'm here, I'm never not gonna not enjoy this. So
Definitely. I first found out about the trouble teen industry. Neither of us are actually like survivors of it, so
No,
this is from
not.
like purely like outsider's perspective. But it was 2020, 2021, I think. We were all in like quarantine lockdown, and I found it through TikTok, as you know, weird as that is. But it was this one survivor. Her name was Maggie Higgins, I believe. I don't know if she still posts, but she was also at a wilderness program. I think it was Trinity Teen Solutions. I think they've closed down by now. I tried going on their website and it didn't exist anymore, so yay for that. And it's really inspiring. And then they actually, I believe they work with the Breaking Code Silence Foundation, not Unsilence, but they're fairly similar anyways. And it's so fucked up and weird that it still exists. It's I just, something needs to be done about it. Like, we need to share stories, because like nobody knows this exists, despite it being so widespread. And like, I think it was, what was it, 500,000 kids going to these programs like annually, and somehow nobody has like, is still not big enough of an issue for like most people to know about it, which is just mind-boggling.
And there were just so many things that I saw done to others. There were things that were done to me that, you know, they happen so often there, and it almost becomes normal. And
Yeah.
like it's normal where like a kid's talking back, and all of a sudden he just gets tackled violently on the floor, and like pinned down in a very vulnerable position just for mouthing off, not because he was a threat to himself or anybody else, just because he upset somebody in a position of power, like that kind of stuff, like just the place where if you get out of line, violence can be used against you, and if somebody else around you gets out of line, violence will be used against them. Those kinds of experiences really, they're really hard, even if you're not the one that the violence is being perpetrated on, and that did happen to me too. But even just being in the area, being in the vicinity of that, being around, it's traumatic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I would.
it's hard because you don't know. In the real world, you have an expectation of how you interact with people, and violence is not the answer. But in the TTI, it's the norm, and so it's very hard because it's like you feel like you're in two separate worlds when you leave the TTI.
Yeah.
I had a lot of trauma in my 20s that I dealt with, and into my 30s now, I still continue to deal with it. I think in better ways now, but it was a journey after the TTI. I had a lot of emotional problems, a lot of anxiety, a lot of just fear, because there's so many times in the TTI where things are calm and then they just go to 0 to 100 so quickly.
The uncertainty of it.
And the lack of control. So it's my experiences there certainly shaped very early on my behaviors in my 20s and probably even now. I think now I'm more controlled with it, but it was not a good way to enter adulthood.
Yeah.
I'll say what I usually say to everybody who I interview. I am deeply, my condolences and my apologies that you had to go through that. You do not have to suffer. You are an important person. This is why we're doing what we're doing here, why we're trying to advocate. I myself, I didn't have the same experience you did, but I had like a really rough experience with bullying where, yes, the police had to be called. Story for another day, where I would like talk about my story, obviously, but I wasn't like abused by my parents or anything, but it is still a very important chapter in my life. But that's one of the reasons why I came here, because I do not want anyone else who has gone through so much pain to just get hurt. So without those experiences, though, without your experiences, without anyone who's lined up for interviews with me and Ace, I would not be doing this. We wouldn't be here tonight.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for volunteering. Thank you for everyone volunteering, really. This is probably a message we could put on the podcast. If anybody listening has a story they'd like to share that
Please
maybe they didn't even realize was the TTI before, or even if they don't think it's like as serious, we'd love to just share the stories, because it's something that needs to be told, it's something that needs to be spread, and we can't keep living in silence for any longer.
You are not alone. You never will be alone. We have your back. We're going to support you no matter what, no matter how difficult the story is. We are going to listen to what you have to say. So I'll leave links in regards to contacting both of us in the description down below of this, and I will also leave what I usually do. I will leave suicide prevention hotlines, as well as more info about why we do what we do.
Actually,
Thanks, guys.
but before we end, actually, I wanted to ask, how is your relationship with like your parents now, or even during like the time at those facilities? Like, did you talk with them at all? I know communication was probably limited by the facilities, but
Yeah, it was. It was very controlled, particularly at youth care. Youth care controlled it. Copper Hills also controlled it. It was not controlled very much at. And then the wilderness also certainly did, because all the letters were read, and
Yes.
you know, you didn't even get like 2 phone calls the whole time I was out there for like 3 months.
Okay.
So I did have communication with my parents, but it was usually pretty controlled. Now today, yeah, I talk to my parents. We talk. But it's the whole experience is it took a strain on the relationship for sure, and it still is a sore spot with our relationship. I guess it's I don't think that they feel that they made a mistake, and I think part of that is they spent a lot of money to put me through what I went through, and who wants to have buyer's remorse, you know? I think there's some of that. I don't bring it up very often at all, ever. If I were, the response from my father would be something like, well, you know, that was a long time ago, get over it.
No.
So, you know, it would not be a very empathetic response. So it's just kind of an area we just don't talk about. And but yeah, it's either that or completely cut them off. But you know, they are my parents, so I do maintain contact with them.
Talk to them. Yes. All right. Well, thank you for telling us that, and thank you for being for allowing us to giving up your time for us, and thank you all for listening in to this episode. We really do appreciate all the support you can give us, and that's all we have for you guys today. So thanks once again, and we'll see you all in the next one. I hope you guys are having a very wonderful day.
Bye, world.
There he goes.
All right. Well, or if we're still streaming, thanks for. Are we?
Yep.
Thanks for tuning in again, viewers. It really does mean a lot to us that you come to these streams, and more importantly, watch these videos on my YouTube channel, which I'll have Ace link at one point or another. It really does mean a lot to us that you guys are here, and we're going to continue to be advocates for those who are neglected, exploited, or abused. And we're going to tell these stories, and we're not going to remain silent until our battle is over.
There we go. I was gonna say something. I forgot.
Alright, well, let's make it quick, because
This one.
I gotta get some sleep.
Yeah, for sure. I'm probably gonna stream for another hour, but you should go sleep. Fuck, I can't remember. Oh yeah, I was gonna ask. Did you want me to make thumbnails for the episodes? Because I totally could.
Oh, please do. Yes, I would love that. If you could do the first one as well, because I don't want to just use
Yeah.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, we will talk more about that over tomorrow probably. But that's all I have for you. This has been Colin Silver or C or Mr. C, whatever you guys want to call me. And well, I'll catch you all next time I'm here. Later, guys.
Well, I was thinking that it was a bit too early to end stream tonight, although I could. I was gonna see if Silver was actually down to play some Bed Wars. They might have gone to sleep. Let me ask if anybody is online. I don't know if anybody is. Probably gonna switch to Minecraft, I think. Here we go. me switch over to this one. Cool. And I'll just go ahead and start it. Pray that I don't have to update Minecraft again when I just updated it like 2 weeks ago. But we'll see. Discord is muted. Okay. There we go. I'm so happy and proud of this podcast. Fuck me. God damn it. Microsoft, why do you do this? But this series is just really great. The game is already running. Oh god. There goes Discord. Marty? Why is my cat being weird? Is it working? There we go. Okay. I'm so thankful to all the viewers, everybody watching. It's just truly incredible. And could Minecraft please open? There we go. It is so. I'm speechless, but I'm so happy that I can get to do this. Actually, I'm really passionate. Why do I have to log in? I'm so passionate about this. What is my Microsoft? That is a good question. Oh god. Minecraft and Hypixel for charity. Share. Minecraft. Sick. So next stream, or tomorrow's stream, is going to be part 2 of Jen's experience in the TTI, because we barely even scratched the surface, really. We did not get super far. I think we went to the second facility she went to, and she was in there for like 3 years. Okay, there we go. What the hell is going on with Minecraft? Yeah. And then next week we're gonna have Lily, and then we're also gonna have Coil, and then depending on whether or not we can really go into Jen's story more. What is this? Sure, whatever. What is happening? What? Why am I logged into everything but Java? It's so weird. What was I saying? It was, well, yeah. And then depending on whether or not we get through the rest of Jen's story, we might do a part 3. And then I'd love to do another, like, follow-up to, let's use this one. To Matsy's story, where we go more into depth on what happened in Copper Hills. I think that'd be very interesting. Yeah. This is just really, really enlightening, and I'm so proud and honored to be able to share this, because it's so just wow. Oof. this up to what are we feeling? What's this? Oh boy. Internet? Please don't crash. I think we got it. Maybe. I also have to feed my cat in 10 minutes. Oh, OBS. Please don't crash on me. It would be greatly appreciated if you did not crash on me. Yeah, I forgot about MCC Island. Oh lord. We're back? We're back. Cool. Baby. What's going on with the internet? Oh boy. Cool. Pixel? I was thinking of starting a Skyblock, but if anybody was interested in joining, I'd also be down for that as well. In the meantime, that's SMP, this one. Bruh. I don't remember. Oh, the pit. I forgot about that. Six. Wow. UHC. I forgot about that. So many old ones. I should do duels with someone. Ooh, what's parkour duels? Oh, walls. Rubber wars. Oh, that's what we were playing. We're the mystery. There we go. Okay. Whoa. Where am I? Nice. Common. Interesting. Let me turn up my brightness. I can't see anything. Oh, sapling. What the fuck is this? Talk to Jerry. can make slabs. I can mine dirt. Should be enough, right? Maybe? Oh yeah. Sky is part of a much larger universe. Skyblock universe is full of ice more resources to discover. Portal to warp first of those islands. Skyblock hub. Security slot, salesman, farm merchant. Interesting. Oh, I'm gonna talk to everyone. Can put it as good. Interesting. Oh, that doesn't count. Leo. Leaflet armor progressing through your Oglog collection. Oh. Oh. Energy of the. Ooh, interesting. Help selector. Vex. Retrieve the trade belongings. Neat. Let me join VC and pray don't crash. Duke. Lots to explore. And farmer coal mine north of here. West of the village. Auction house. Whoa. Felix. Ender chest. Ooh. Store time. Very welcome to the library. That's our shop for all things enchanting. Experience levels. Neat. What's over here? Damn. Auction master. Put available items up for auction. Oh, I see. Neat. I'm not a big Skyblocks player, so this is all pretty new to me. Is this where the mine is? Ah, blacksmith, coal mine. Lynn. Quest log. Reforge items. Cost coins. First item for coal. Collect coal. Learn how to reforge. Where's mine? Fuck's the mine? See ores? The fuck is the mine? What? What? Oh, there's an explosion. Is this the mines? I guess so. So how does one mine coal? Just like this? Oh. 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 Interesting. Are there any crafting benches here? No. Doesn't look like it. Neat. Oh. I'm assuming those areas kind of open up as time goes. Blacksmith? Catacombs. Very cool. I will go back to my island. Probably a good idea. I need to go feed my cat as well. Ooh, graveyard. Oh, I assume that's like a fighting sim? How do I get out? Interesting. And I guess this is where you can get like experience. The forest. This is very cool. Bartender. I'll pay you for it. Oh yeah. Ooh. Builder. Build they will come. Oh, cute. Oh, this is really nice. Mana bar, abilities. Oh. What is this? Menu. Let me toss out the villagers. What is that? Hey there. Reverse. Artist to be new Da Vinci. Ran out. Died this morning. Oh, it's a quest. The fuck? Oh, 5. You didn't say that. That's not what I wanted. There we go. Here's a spray can. And looking spray can and spray it. Okay. Cool. Carpenter. What is this? Oh, the farm. Cool. This is so interesting. Climb to the top. Neat. Wow. Planes? This is nice. Where the fuck am I? Oh, that's where I was. Lumber merchant. Venture. Bazaar. Interesting. Banker. I haven't looked at this side. Farm merchant. Cute. Okay. Neat. Good co-op. Ooh. Cool. Skills. Skill menu. Ooh. Fairy souls. Oh. I feel like I saw that. Quest log. Yeah, those are the fairy souls. How the fuck do I get them? How the fuck do you get that? No, that's a beacon. So maybe it's not? That's neat. Jeez, this is big. What is farming islands? What's up here? Is there anything up here? Whoa, what is that? The mine, I assume? Yeah, mine. Oh, I guess it's different mines for different types of ores. Like a dungeon? Yeah, so this is mine. Starter gear. Combat skill. Ew. What is this? Archery range. Cool. Ah. Cool. I don't know where the rest of the villagers are, dude. This side? Stints. Cardboard level. Tab. Oh, wowie. There's that. I went there. Carpenter. A bit more over here. Fashion shop. Ooh. Forums. Oh no. interesting. Promising axe. Oh boy. Wow. Just one more. Alchemist. Plumber Joe. Oh. I accidentally spent money. That's my bad. This is cute, but where is the last villager is my question. What's over here? Coliseum. Oh, yeah. You? Maths enjoyer. Coliseum Wilderness. Whoa. This is sick. Don't think I'm gonna find a villager here. Ooh. This is so cool. There's something up here, or is it just for fun? This is sick. Whoa. Oh, dang. That's sick. Oh, this is so cute. Oh my gosh. Oh, I love this. That's so cool. This is my favorite part. What is this? Nothing back here. What is this? Dang. Is there anything on top of the mountains? What was that? It's a lot of torches. There's so much stuff. Missing just one villager. Atrium. Ooh. Fancy. Wow. This truly is just massive. Oh, I think I was over here earlier. Ruins. Huh. Technically don't need to do any of this, but like I also really want to find the last fucking villager. Oh, wolves. Oh. I was gonna be like, can we tame the wolves? No, they just fucking kill you. That's fun. Oh, that's where you were hiding all this time, you motherfucker. Oh, now we got it. You know what? Maybe I will end stream a bit earlier. My storage is full. What is this? Oh, cute. Cute. There you go. There's a skeleton in here. Oh, I kind of need water. Nice. I don't have the sponge. Let me see the graveyard. Whoa. Oh my god. What is that? Oh. He just fucking burst through it, my god. Ow. You fucking spawned in, motherfucker. Bro, just actually just got fucking, yeah, like exploding boots or something. What the fuck? Why are you so fast? Get back here. Why are they all coming after me now? Back off. do. I got flesh. Interesting. So this is very different from like one block sky block. That's what I was thinking of. What is this? Appearance, fuel. Oh. Clear some area here. I think I should probably go to the mines out of everywhere. You update. Let's check out the mines and then get, oh, I forgot the coal. Whatever, it's fine. I can get 10 coal pretty easily anyways. What is it? Oh, do I have a map? Is that just this island? And then there's all those? Holy shit. Oh my god. Holy. Yeah, coal mine. Oh, cool. Are these all coal mines? Or... oh, I see, here. Ooh. Interesting. Not what I was expecting. Gold forager. Iron forager. Is gold and iron? Or just gold? Let's see, this is coal. That leads back. Oh, there's coal and iron. Sick. Wow, I do mine fast. Nice. Huh. That's pretty neat. What do you do? Oh. Neat. Huh. Yes, and wow. Oh. Could be like stone as well. That's nice. This is gold. Doesn't have as much fortune on it, I don't think. The iron is nice. How I wish caves actually looked like this in Minecraft. My god, I have such bad cave luck. I don't think it's as fast either, actually. It's not here. Hi, welcome to the stream, Harry. How are you? How's your day been? Oh my god, holy. I'm figuring out Hypixel Skyblock for the first time. I have never played this before. Very different from the one block Skyblock that I actually know. Wow, that's crazy. What is this? Are you here? My pronouns are they, he. There we go. What is this? How do you even get back? They're here? Oh well, thanks yourself. I'm doing good. Where does that go? Huh. I'm just about wrapping up stream actually, because I spent the majority of it actually interviewing. What's over here? I spent most of it interviewing a guest star for Deep Caverns. What the heck? Whoa. Dang. Oh, the Nether. Cool. Yeah, I spent most of it actually interviewing a guest on our show about survivors of the troubled teen industry, which is like institutional child abuse. It's really interesting. Oh, there's mobs. Neat. Gunpowder mines. How does one feel like no genders? In my case, at least, I know there's sort of like a spectrum. In my case, they is more like I'm a little bit of both. What? Oh, this is like a dungeon area. Neat. I know my knee is okay. My cat's being fussy. Oh gosh. Dang. Oh, there's lapis. What the fuck? Oh. Yeah, there are mobs. Like, the deeper you go. Cool. I assume I need lapis to enchant. I also don't know, what do I do with this? It's a lot of... I have overstacking like 4 blocks. Oh my gosh. Doesn't look like there's anything interesting down there. I've been causing no harm then. Good for you. Thank you. Oh, thank you for the follow. Yeah, I do prefer that over lava. Over some people who just like it doesn't do any harm what I decide to call myself, so yeah. Jeez. So really it's fine. How's your day been anyways? Like, what did you do? I'm just gonna head back to my island, figure out if I can sell this. I don't know what I do with it. Restaurant, calendar, storage, bank. You can have a portable crafting grid? That's nice. Oh! That's perfect then. Oh, nice. Lapis should be in the enchanting area. Just like here? The library? Yeah. How do I enchant something? What if I enchanted this one? Oh, I see. You need experience points. I can't enchant anything. Fun. Yeah, but that's fun, I guess. I mean, I am part of the LGBT community, but like, as long as you're not spreading hate, I think it's fine. What do I do with this stuff? There's a salesman. That's the wrong type of salesman. How do I sell stuff? There's... maybe there's one per section that'll take the money. Investment or starter gear. No. Will you buy my things? No, you're a forger. What is this? Runes. Cool. Can I not sell my stuff? This is a smith mauler. Huh. Interesting. No joke, first person not to call me homophobic. Yeah, I mean, I'm honestly chill with anything as long as you don't, like, spread hate. That's the archer. What do I do with all this? I'm so confused. What is city pride? My mayor, like, what the heck is going on? Auction house bazaar. Maybe bazaar, actually, might be the place to sell it. Yeah, never mind. I'm just gonna go back to my island and head off. I don't know what I'm doing. I'll have to ask Silver how to play this. I have no idea. I like only play Bed Wars and Pixel Party. Dang, that's a lot of cobblestone. Cool avatar, by the way. Thank you. Yeah, I really like my PNG tuber. Let's put this in here. That's gonna be a mess of a chest for later me to figure out. Perfect. What's the button? There we go. Why did my skin? Fucked up my skin. God damn it. Let's see. Who's live right now? Let me do a little. Hi, Valacious. Oh my god, I was just gonna end stream. Here we go. Let's see. Twitch. Perfect. So next stream tomorrow is going to be interviewing Jen. It's going to be a solo one actually since Colin can't join. I'm not sure how long that'll take. Soft Tacos live, Blossom's live, Sight's also live. Felicia's isn't actually. I love me Soft Taco. So you have a good rest of your day. You too. If you want, you can stick around for the raid. I'm gonna raid my good friend Soft Tacos because they're live. I think I've raided them the past couple of times. Soft Taco X. There we go. Cool. Yeah. But next stream tomorrow is gonna be interviewing Jen. Next Friday is gonna be me, Colin, interviewing Lily, and then that Saturday is going to be us with Coil, all on their experiences in the troubled teen industry. I'm looking forward to doing more interviews because this is really just honestly the best thing I've ever done, I think. Anywho, let's go send Tacos some love. They're playing Dave the Diver, and I will see you all tomorrow. Goodbye. Have a wonderful rest of your day.